This is my 1998 GMC K1500 four-wheel drive, and that is a 2004 LLY Duramax diesel. And today, we're gonna build some motor mounts for it. Never done this before, but I hope you guys stick around and enjoy the video. Remember, if you guys are new or you decide to watch this channel, be sure to subscribe. It helps me out a little bit. Go towards more projects like this. I hope you guys enjoy it. So let's dig in. All right, guys. So I wasn't going to show you this stuff, but I figured this might be a little bit important. If you guys are doing a swap, like a 6.6 Duramax in your OBS, you know, your 89 to I don't know, in the 3/4 tons 02 Chevy trucks like this one. The GMT 400 platform, just say that. If you're going to swap a Duramax into one and you want to try to use your factory crossmember for your transmission, you're going to have to trim it. And I'm going to show you how I did it. And I'll show you me welding it up and stuff if I can get my welder out because I buried it. So I'm going to set you guys up. I'm going to pull that out. I'll show you what I did. And then we'll put the piece in place and we'll tack it in. Or, yeah. Anyway. Okay, so what I did, I cut out the center of it, and then I cut the edges off, as you can see, you know, the width of the whatchamacallit there. I'm not really savvy with this. I'm more of a parts replacer, but I wanted to do this, so you can see the stuff I cut off, and then I cut off the center section. That's going to go back in. So what I did, and hopefully I can see the marks, because, yeah, I can see them. So I don't know if you can tell, but you can see a spot where I kind of scratched it a little bit. That is where we're going to clean up, and that's where we're going to tack. Whoa. That's where we're going to tack that piece to. And then when we fit it in, we should be able to get the transmission in, and then we can figure out the where we want the transmission to sit. Like, we won't bolt it in, drill new holes, anything like that yet until we get the Duramax motor mounts done, which hopefully it's going to be kind of cold tomorrow. It's 50 today, but it's supposed to be 29 tomorrow, Pennsylvania. So we are going to build the motor mounts maybe tomorrow. I got to go. It might be a good day to just go get some supplies I need, which is more cutting wheels. I have a nice big plate of steel here that I'm going to build the base out of. And then I have a big plate on the back of the Duramax donor truck that I'm just going to use for the like the wings or whatever you want to say that bolt to the factory motor mounts. There is a motor mount kit you can buy, $219, but I have all the material to build one, and honestly, it's going to be cheaper for me to build it. So, more cutting wheels, and then hopefully either tomorrow or Monday, because I have off, we can get into building the motor mounts, which will be in this video, which today is Saturday, so hope you guys are having a good weekend. But we need to get that tacked up. I'm going to shut you guys off real quick. Ain't got a whole lot of battery. Plus I got to delete a video, some videos on here so that way I have room. Anyway, okay, so we got everything cleaned up. As you can see, ground down. Same with the piece we're going to be using wherever it went. Right here underneath the welder. May still be hot. All sides are ground down. Still looks kind of dirty. I'm going to wipe it off. But we're going to favor this to one side when we put it in. We're going to favor it to one side over the other. Like that. Just to try to kind of make it a little happy in one direction over the other, which is fine because it's got some slider adjustment. Plus, we don't know where the bolt's going to be for the where we got to drill new holes or whatever on the frame for the new where the crossmember is going to sit then, in correlation with everything. And it's, like I said, it's going to be free sitting in pretty much. And then this is just going to hold the weight of the transmission on the back and hold the motor hopefully level. But yeah, I got my welding helmet, I got my gloves. I'm going to set you guys down. We're going to weld this in, well, tack it in, then burn it home. I got a piece here I can fit in here and make work if I need to. And yeah, we'll just go from there.
taking shots at the enemy. I'm gonna make it to the top, leave a legacy. If I got something to say, you better let me speak. Turn it up a new degree, bitch, you ain't seen anything. I pop off with the new rock, electronic, blow the sonic roof up. I'm too honest when I take a few shots. They're too toxic, need to take a
Oh shit. Oops. Well, that happened. Alright guys, so just got it welded. I wire brushed it all off, and you can see how it looks. Obviously, this isn't going to be the final one that, you know, probably runs in the truck. At least, not for the entire life of this monstrosity. It won't do it there. It won't do it the entire time that this truck is this way. But temporarily, this thing's going to work just fine. I just want to get a crossmember made so that way I can bolt the transmission in, and we can get the Duramax motor mount started. And the best way to do that, get the transmission bolted in so that way it actually sits the motor correctly, because right now it kind of sits like this instead of like this. So that's what we got to do. I'm going to get that put in. I don't know if you guys can come along for that. Want to? Alright, so give me 1 second and we'll climb under there. Alright, you guys are in a spot where you guys won't be too much in my way, and I can kind of show you. So, right here's one of the mounts, and the other one's up a little higher. We're going to get this slid in with the transmission mount on, and then we'll see what happens. Alright guys, I'm gonna shut you guys back off now, and we're gonna throw you back on when I have the transmission kind of sitting in place the way I want it. Alright guys, so I have the transmission bolted in. Don't mind all the fluid leaking out of the transmission at the moment, because I have the engine jacked up just a hair. But it is bolted in. This transmission mount's actually messed up. The rubber bushing is actually like detached from one of the studs. So I do plan on replacing that. I just have not yet. I figure I have it, so I'll use it to do the mock-up. And when it's finally time for final fit, we'll clean everything up the correct way. Which means this is temporarily permanent. But I also discovered, which is fine, the Duramax actually fits in here very well. There's only very minimal things you have to do, which I discovered. On the transfer case mount on the passenger side, you have to trim a little bit of that off for the oil pan, which I will show you what I mean right now. So, hopefully try not to get any transmission fluid on me. So, I got to see where I'm looking. Right there. So, if you can see that, the mount right here makes contact with the oil pan, and from what I understand, like this is pretty much where the engine is going to sit, is just right like that. And if you nick just like the top corner, like from like here, like there, down a little bit, you will have enough room to yeah, there's plenty of room up by the front by the transfer case. And I know the underneath this truck's pretty oily too. I don't know. I think it's from me. Well, it definitely is from me because the oil filter and stuff got messed up. But that is a spot that you have to trim off, which it should be fine. I don't see why it wouldn't be. I am going to let it down though so it stops leaking transmission fluid on my floor. And I think this is where I'm going to wrap it up for tonight. Hopefully I'll pick it up in just a couple days to build the engine mounts, because tomorrow I don't feel like freezing my ass off. And I'm getting transmission fluid turned on. Alright guys, next day, Sunday, 28 degrees outside. It's pretty chilly, but we're going to work through it because I really want to get the engine bolted in this truck. Stepping on tools. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this sheet of steel. It should be plenty thick enough. Yeah, honestly, the other steel ain't much thicker. And like I said, I got that plate of steel in the back of the Duramax donor truck that we will use for the arms that come down, or the wings that come down and bolt to the actual frame of the truck right there where that block of wood is, where the rubber bushing is. That's where we'll bolt to, and that's the pieces that'll come down. I wish I was better at explaining. Anyway, that's what we're going to do now. Get them traced out, get them cut, and yeah, I'll set you guys up and bring you along, I guess. Alright guys, so I got my plate traced out. I drilled the holes for it already just to make sure. We will double check with the actual plate that I need, wherever I sat it, right here. Make sure the holes line up. Well, they're a little off, but I think they should work. So, with that being said, we're going to cut this out, and then we'll try to get it bolted on the truck. And if it don't, we'll go back to the drawing board. We'll wallow that out a little bit and see if it works then. I might as well keep these on. Alright guys, so this is the plate that you're going to end up with. Well, besides I gotta take that little piece there out, which I will do probably with probably a flappy wheel, because it'll be kind of easy to do with that. And then yeah, we're gonna go test fit this on the truck. I should have, I couldn't move because it was on this side. Let's swap discs, I guess. It worked well. Oh man. Oh damn. Oh yeah, there we go. For any of those of you that are curious, I was using a diamond bit blade just to try it out. It actually works very well, and I still have a lot of life left on it compared to, you know, your normal more consumable blades. But yeah, I'm going to swap that over to a floppy disk, and we are going to well, clean up the edges obviously, and we'll cut that little spot out. guys, and there we have it. As you can see, I smoothed out the edges to make sure that there was no sharp corners, because, well, obviously it sucks to work around sharp corners. So that's what our plate looks like. We're going to, I assume this is the passenger side plate, so let's go try and test fit it. Okay, so I got the engine up pretty high. No, you guys still can't see. The mounts are like up underneath here, so it's like almost impossible for you folks to see, unfortunately. But I will obviously relay back to what I find out as I go. Alright guys, so this is a couple days later. A whole lot of time has passed. It's actually warm out, as you can see. Got an actual t-shirt on instead of, you know, head to toe Carhartt. So I want to share with you guys. So I built a motor mount for this side here. It's actually sitting on the weight right now, and it's pretty good. The only problem really with it is that I didn't show you guys really. But today, right now actually, we're going to be building the motor mount for the other side, because after we do that, then I want to hang, I believe, an inner fender on it, or maybe start getting this wiring pulled out, because after we get the other motor mount put in, we can start running the wires into the cab, and then just kind of figure out where we got to go from there, I guess. Save some time. I went through and mocked up myself without the camera being on. So it's like, I don't know, 15-20 minutes for me, 25 seconds for you. But this is what we kind of came up with. It'll work. This is just my first rendition of these. You know, trial and error. Bigger plate, thicker plate of steel. We're gonna cut it out of this 11 gauge stuff I have. Because why not? I can always add gussets, you know, yada yada, all that stuff. But I will walk over here and I'll show you how I kind of got it. I just took a piece of cardboard, based it off of the other one I made for the other side, and then I just came down here. You can see the plate. It actually goes this way on this side. Stick it right in there like that, and there you go. There's your motor mount. Now I can take this over to my plasma cutter, aka the grinder, and cut it out. Which I have I have it already drawn out here on the CAD. And so yeah, we're going to get to doing this. Once again, I'm gonna shut you guys off because you guys have seen me grind, you've seen me cut, you've seen me weld. How many more times do you guys want to see it? I'll do it every time, but you know, there's like 4 of you that watch me, so. I don't know. That's what we're going to do for now. If you guys like seeing the content, make sure to give a thumbs up. Alright guys, so it is once again the next day. It's like, we started this video on Saturday, I think. It is now Thursday. And we have the motor mounts in. Engine is not, it's on its own weight. So that's awesome. I'm working on steering shaft right now, and I figured this was important, and I might as well add it into the video, because why not? I'll also show you my engine mounts, which look horrible, but they'll do for the first iteration of this. Also got the Hydro Boost kind of like mediocrely bolted in place. I'm kind of figuring out where everything's going to go now, but literally everything out of the 2004 is just going to go into this truck. I'm going to get all the wiring out of that cab, all the wiring out of this cab, and we're just going to put everything 2004 in this truck. Everything should work as it should. Well, aside from, I think, maybe HVAC, I don't think that's going to work, but we'll see. We'll cross that. That's Future Dakota's problem, and fuck that guy. So we're going to get working on the steering wheel. I'll show you what I got going on. It's actually super simple. It kind of blew my mind, but I'll eventually have to go, and I'll probably order a GMC steering wheel because it was a Chevy truck. This is a GMC. Kind of sucks that there's a Chevy steering wheel. Anyway, So these are my motor mounts. I don't know if you'll be able to see them, but I'll try. So right, I believe right there what you're staring at, yeah, right here, that is the motor mount. Let me grab a light. There, now you can see it. That's my motor mount right there where the bolt's like facing you, right there. Light's shining right on it. That's one motor mount. This one's a little easier to show you. That's the other one. Don't look too closely at the welds. But it works. Like I said, it's holding its own weight. We've got plenty of suspension travel like this. The OBS platform actually holds, or GMT 400, holds the motor, transmission, all that very well. I am honestly pretty impressed. Once we hang, like, obviously this is going to get a little heavier because we got fenders and core support, radiator, all the fluids, you know, yada yada. But honestly, I have the torsion bars cranked just a little bit from the 350 and putting these monster tires on it. So there is a little bit of torsion key crankage on this thing, but not bad. Anyway, let's get into the last thing I'm going to show you guys before I end off this video, because it's actually kind of impressive and kind of crazy that Chevy did this. Because honestly, from 98 to 2004, they didn't change a lot with these steering shafts. So, took my light out. So, as you can see, there's the steering shaft. This is the Chevy one, as you can see. Ooh. Want that to be straight. Alignment's good. Anyway, so you can see this is kind of sitting up right now, and I can adjust it down and get it to sit in its spot. And that's what we have to do still. But what you have to do is that bracket sits a little further down, and I think it's flipped the other way. So you have to do this. This bracket is flipped like this, I believe. And it's, yeah, it's like that kind of. But as you can see, it don't fit no more. And it's kind of like off crooked like that. So it don't sit like in line with the other one. So you got to cut this off, turn it, and then I think flip it around, I can't remember, and weld it back in place. No, this is the way it went. It went this way. I'm a little dumb. So it went in like this way on the steering shaft. You know, steering shaft comes through, this bolts in. I don't know how I'm trying to show you. But this bolts in, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to stick this back in place. I'm going to make sure the steering wheel is straight, just to make sure that I don't think it's moving there. But I'm going to make sure it's correct. I'm going to take this, mark it with a marker, and then I'm going to pull it back out, grind it, weld it, and then put it back in, because we're kind of at that spot where reassembly is happening. Like, as soon as the weather breaks and we get some decent days again, I'm going to pull the fuel tank out, because we're going to try to get the fuel tank to work in this truck as well. I got to get a transfer case gasket so I can put the transfer case back in. I have bushings for the core support, but this core support is garbage that I have for the OBS, so I'm going to just cut this one up first, see if I can't make things work, and then bolt everything together. I might even go as far as just seeing if the 350 radiator will work, because it worked for the 6.5. Not too much bigger displacement there between the 6.5 and the 6.6. But we will, I'm going to do some more research on that. And then I think if it's not too expensive, I might just do a second-gen intercooler. I know that the guys that have done this before, I don't remember their names, but really beautiful Duramax swapped OBS. That's what they did. They just did a second-gen intercooler, and everything worked fine. They also had an LBZ, not an LLY. That shouldn't matter. Anyway, I'm going to mark this, get it all done. I'll bring you back when I have this marked, and I'm cutting and apparently welding and grinding again, because Okay, so I did something that I don't condone doing, but I felt comfortable doing so. I tacked this in place in the truck. I really do not condone doing that, just because there's so much of a fire hazard in there, so much dry material. You could have potential mouse nests that have collected all the dry material, all the insulation that's in there, your seats, everything could be very combustible. So I do not condone anything near tacking or welding inside the truck without a fire extinguisher or something very close by. But I did that. You can see I tacked it here. Where it used to sit is right there. So you have to essentially move it almost 180 degrees in order for it to work correctly with the truck. That's honestly not that big of a deal. After I do this, I'm going to get everything lined up here and get the steering column put in, just so that we know what we're working with. Because this side of the engine is going to get bolted down. I have to get a new bolt for the other side. I got one too long. But this side's good to go. But everything else, we're pretty much going to be pretty well good to go with everything else. I'm going to get this welded. So the steering wheel is in. The steering shaft will not go on it. I think the piece that it goes on is a little different on this versus the other one, which has kind of been the trend. They all look very similar, just very short, small, different things that is throwing everything off. It's kind of the nature of this beast, because there's only a handful of people that have done this. So it is what it is. Just trial and error. When the weather gets decent again, we'll go pull the steering shaft off that one, put it on this, and then we should be good. I don't see why not. If not, we can cannibalize this one and that one and solve a problem completely, hopefully. But that and this is too short for the pedal. The brake pedal is all the way against the firewall with this. So I need to figure out how to adjust this hydro boost system. I'm sure there's got to be a way to do it. I just don't know how. So I got to do some research on that as well to see if I got to find the hydro boost that goes on the OBS, or if I can use this one. I'm really hoping I can just utilize this. Or if I have to just use the brake pedal, modify something, whatever it takes, I'll do it. It's pretty simple to fabricate and stuff. I don't do it correctly, but yeah, so let me show you that, and then we'll end off this video. As you can see, steering wheel is all the way bolted up. I mean, you can see the truck's a mess, but steering wheel is all the way bolted up. It is nice and solid. Well, aside from like whatever that noise was, but it's all nice and solid. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this video, guys. If you guys are new, be sure to subscribe, like, comment. If you think I'm an idiot, be sure to tell me, because I think I am. But until then, we'll see you in the next one. Peace.